So your person needs to be, or doesn't need to be, but should stand up on its own. And if it can't stand up on its own, and I also think it's more presentable if we put them on some kind of board. This is just the back of, it's just like cardboard cut up, like thicker cardboard, and I'll cut pieces for you, okay? So when you're creating your person, you're going to need some wire, because you're going to need the person to be a little bit flexible. I will cut you guys wire. We don't have a ton of wire this year because a lot got used because they made, before I came back, they made these cutesy little wire sculptures. Okay, so I'm working on rebuilding our wire supply, but you can see these people are all in action, and I'll show you underneath the camera as well. When you have your base made out of wire, how are you guys going to best see this? Okay, when you have your person made out of wire, you can easily bend and restructure. Maybe this person is doing some kind of archery. Let's just say they're leaning, their feet are nailed down. You're going to glue your person down. We're not going to nail them down. But you can easily bend the wire, okay? Your person is just going to be wrapped in newspaper, tape, and then plaster on top. All right, so this structure that they created, you guys see there's like a lot of, I guess like bones, we could say, in here in the torso. Why? There we go. In the torso, there's like a lot going on. You guys are going to create a simplistic structure. I don't know where my samples are from previous years. I haven't been able to locate them just yet, but that's okay. So I ordered some new wire. We just don't have a ton of it. We're going to make very basic structures. I always, always, always recommend making a basic structure because you don't need a lot. So I've got some wire here. AJ, can you just put your phone on top of the table so I can see it? Thank you. All right, so I've got some wire here. It's a very flexible wire. It's not very strong wire, all right? But it is flexible, and that's good for the base of your project. Good enough for what we're doing. All right, and then depending on, let's see, I haven't done this in a while. Depending on how tall you want your person, I'm gonna make a shorter figure just so I don't waste as much wire. When I make my base people, I like to make them very simplistic. So these, essentially down here, these will be my legs, right? Then I have a torso and a head. So I'm just going to take this wire and I'm going to twist some kind of structure for the head of a person. All right, you could twist multiple times, but don't, every year I have someone that twists the wire all the way and ends up with this like skinny piece of wire. We don't need to do that because we're covering it in newspaper and tape. Okay, I'm going to decide how long my legs are going to be. I'll twist them up here. It's again going to be a small person. I'm trying not to waste all of the wire. You can make feet, you can bend the feet if you'd like to. I want my person to be somewhat even. Okay, so now I've got a body, a head, a body, and some legs, right, on my miniature person. I'm going to just string a piece through here. To make these my arms. So I personally like to press almost like a pair of tongs or tweezers. I like to press the body together and then put my arms through this neck loop. I find it to be the easiest way to secure them without doing anything crazy. And now I've got a person. Their arms are a little bit long, but that's fine. Maybe I'll make a dancer. They're gonna look a little wacky for the time being. Okay, so this is going to be my person, their legs. a very short looking person. They look really wacky right now. I get that. I'm on the same page, okay? All right, so maybe they'll just be in goddess pose. Let's see, does anyone do yoga in here? All right, this person's in goddess pose and they're gonna stay that way. So what I like to do to secure my body parts, just to hold them together briefly, is to just take some tape and make a little X bandage. If you make anything, like if you just go in a circle, it's not gonna actually brace the body here. All right, it doesn't matter what it looks like because everything's gonna get covered. I just wanna make sure that it's even and that I can bend the pieces as needed. Sorry, this is so messy. And if you need to cut the tape to get it to where you need to be, you want to make sure your posture is what you want. And I recognize that the arms are uneven. I can fix that later. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to tape my hips together. And again, this is just so I don't have to twist it a lot. The more you twist it, the tougher the wire is to manipulate. And also, the shorter or less you have to work with. Okay, so I've got this little person here. I'm aware shoulders are uneven. No problem, I'll fix that later. So what you guys are going to do once you have your wire person, you're going to take newspaper and you're going to rip it, cut it, and ball it up as you see fit. So this piece here, okay, I like to stuff the body. If you prefer to do front and back, it doesn't really matter, it's up to you. But I'm gonna take a little ball of newspaper and try to put it in my little headpiece here, okay? And then comes the wrapping part. You're going to use a ton of tape for this project, okay? So you will need rolls of tape, multiple rolls of tape at your table. Maybe I'll make buckets for you guys with tape. I have a lot of tape in the storage room as well. And you are going to newspaper and tape your person until they look like a completed structure. Just like this, okay? And then once you're covered in tape, then we put the plaster on to seal the body, essentially. All right, so you don't want to have any flat people. In years past, I've seen people doing some of this kind of folding technique, and then they'll take this folded technique and they'll wrap it. And what's going to happen if you do that is you're going to have something with no structure, all right? So you might start like that, but eventually you're going to have to take the newspaper and you're just going to kind of have to create mass and you could twist the newspaper, right? But you need to create mass in some way, shape, or form. And folding is really not always the answer. Okay? Because you don't want your person to be extremely skinny. You want your person to have structure. So now look, I'm losing my structure, so I just want to make sure I go back and I bend my arms and my legs and everything the appropriate way. We shouldn't have any weird connections on our bodies. We should be able to build shoulders, right? Like this neck is a little bit odd. This head shape is a little bit odd. So slowly but surely, I'm gonna go in. And I'm gonna build up. And at first you might just need a little bit of tape just to get it stuck. And then you can press. And if this, see this arm is getting like really wacky up here, I need to cut this open. Do a little bit of surgery. And try to pull that down. Let's see. To this area. And if my arm is much longer. I will find, I definitely have samples somewhere around the room, maybe in the back. I definitely have fully taped samples. Do you guys see where I'm headed with this? Yes, okay. I will measure out wire and I'll just start clipping wire. You guys are each gonna get a body wire and a arm wire, and then that is all you're gonna get for now. If you need to create any accessories for your person, you can have wire to create accessories, but I don't want to give you more than one wire to build the body. If you twist it too many times or you do something wacky, untwist it and try again. I really want you guys to use your problem solving, your ability to see dimension, and your sculpture skills. And again, very flexible wire, easy to work with, but also poses the challenge that when you do something to one side, the other side will bend because it's pretty weak wire. And this guy's looking really uneven. So I'll have to, and you could, if it's uneven, like this one's like much bulkier, right, and shorter, you can push the paper and you can tape it. And if you're having a hard time doing that, you could always do some surgery. Just be careful when you're doing it. You could cut, right, like if I was like, this is too poofy, I could always cut this and fold it over itself and retape it. So let me just show you guys what I'm talking about. And I could tighten my tape. You want to add biceps, you want to add detail, you want to add whatever, you need to start doing that with the tape, okay? And where the head is leaning, if my head is leaning up, then my head should be leaning up. This person should also be sitting. I feel like this should be back. It does help. Might look odd, you might feel odd or what have you, but it does help to also stand in the pose if you're having a hard time figuring out where they should be, which I feel like I am struggling. Here we go, back and then forward. There we go. Okay, so this is my rib cage up here, this would be the butt back here, and then the legs would go out. All right, and that's essentially how you're gonna build your person, is newspaper and tape, and until that is done, you guys will not be moving on to plaster. We're gonna be working on this for a couple of days,